is going on, hobby family? It is your boy K-Dub, and this is K-Dub's High Five. 5 rapid fire questions with your favorite hobby faces. And today we bring in a true hobby OG favorite, my man Chris from Top Shelf Breaks at Top Shelf Breaks on social media platforms across the world's greatest card shop. I don't know what else to say,
Now you're
man.
getting carried away, but okay.
How are you doing today, man?
Good, 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 man. Thank you for having me. This is good to do, man. Thank you.
Yeah, well, like I was telling you before, this is a long time coming, man. You've been on my list, so I'm so excited to have you on here. I think it's going to be great to kind of hear your story and your collecting habits and all that good stuff. So I'm going to throw 5 questions at you, all hobby related. Ready to take on the high five?
I am ready to take on the high five. Let's go.
All right, man. This first one here is kind of the origin story. Kind of walk me through a little bit the history of Top Shelf Breaks. How'd you come up with the idea? Did you ever think you'd get to the place you are today? But basically, like, what is it? How'd you come up with it? How'd you get here?
Yeah, that's good. It started back in 2012. I was tinkering around on social media and I clicked on a link that took me to some guy opening up packs. He was opening up packs, not box breaks, not names and teams, just opening up packs. And I was kind of fascinated by it. So I bought into it. And a couple of days later, the card showed up. And so I kind of started digging and Googling and looking around for more things like that. Couldn't figure out why somebody would want that to do that. You know, I want to open the stuff myself. That's the fun part. But I started to get it and I started thinking, man, like I felt like there's being a lot of things were being left on the table. It was very kind of one note at the time.
Hmm.
There didn't seem to be much personality or entertainment. And I don't say that to be mean. It's just how it was. It was very static.
Yeah.
And so I was always thinking like, man, there's so much more they could be doing. And I wanted to bring my background from radio, being on air personality for many years and in production and stuff. I thought we could bring that in to what these guys are doing and girls. And so in 2012. I was trying to get Colin Kaepernick rookies from the year before. And then in 2014, I was thinking about actually starting it up and doing it myself. But my friend Nate came to me and said, hey, have you thought about doing this? And I said, man, I was literally about to start this. Let's do it together. So that's when Nate and I formed Top Shelf Breaks. And I just wanted Top Shelf to reflect what we were all about. Just good stuff, top shelf, kind of the best of the best that we could put forth. That was in
Absolutely.
2014. So we're coming up on 9 years now.
Well, yeah. I mean, I know that you are. Just so you know, you're the first breaker that I ever subscribed to their email list.
Wow,
Still,
cool.
still a subscriber today from 2014.
That is great. Thank you.
And really one of the first breakers that I ever watched or ever saw. I had no idea when I first got back in the hobby. And I think I just, Googled box breaks, your name popped up, your Twitter handle, and I clicked it, and here we are, 8 years later, and you're still doing it, man. So
Yep.
that's why I
Well,
call
thank
you
you.
the OG, man, because you are literally an OG to me in this hobby thing.
It
So
flies by. We're going to be celebrating 10 years here soon. So it definitely flies by. So I know what you're saying. I remember my first breaker too, the first person that I started buying in breaks with. I think everybody will always remember
yeah,
kind of their first breaker they started watching and started,
yeah.
buying in spots and building kind of a rapport and relationship with. So that's really cool. That's great.
Absolutely, absolutely. All right, man. Well, second question. Let's get a little bit more
Yeah.
personal because obviously you had to get into cards at some point.
Mhm.
Who would you say have been kind of those influences in your own hobby journey for your own personal collecting? And then also, if you want to shout out any of those people who kind of influenced you getting into the
Yeah.
business side of hobby as well.
Yeah, for sure. I'd be remiss if I didn't. Well, it goes back into the 80s because I'm not only my OG here, but I'm old. So we're talking back in the 80s, man. My buddy Matt was a collector and he was into collecting the cards, which I really wasn't. I was into skateboarding and music and just doing that whole outdoor scene. But he had these cards all the time. He'd bring a big giant Tough Stuff magazine and
Oh
he'd be
yeah,
like, look, man, I got this card, a couple months ago. Back then it was not hundreds of dollars. It was an $8 card. And now it's worth $15. It's doubled. And I remember the Ken Griffey Juniors that he was trying to collect from 89 Upper Deck and all that. And that's my first exposure to collecting was Matt back in the 80s. So through the years and all through my adult years, like many of us, I still collected. I would pick up boxes and packs here and there and just kind of stay connected, go to the local card shop. And then I got out of it because of a career, and the career started taking off when you get into your 30s and building that career and get away from it. But I
yeah.
started to come back to it when I settled down in like 2014. And I would be remiss if I didn't mention some of the early people in the early days. I was nervous as heck, man. I was so nervous at the National. I've only been on the air less than a year, and here I am at the National. and all these other, at the time, OG breakers were breaking for like 3 or 4 years. We
Yeah.
were an OG at that time. So there's some breakers that had gone on like year 14 and 15. And the people that stood out to me was Dan and Doug from mojobreak.com. They were so helpful. They were insightful. They weren't threatened by any way. And also Rich Layton, of course, he probably gets mentioned in a lot of these type of
Sure.
interviews.
Yep.
But Rich came up to me, introduced himself, asked me where I'm from, what I'm all about. He invited me down to Florida. So I got to go down to Florida and hang out with Rich and just talk to him and get a lot of insight. So to this day, we've become good friends, both in the personal lives and in the hobby. And we work together to help build all of our companies. So those guys there are really big help for me when I started out and even to this day.
Yeah. Awesome names to mention there. And does your original buddy from the 80s, does he still collect cards?
Matt does, because I reached out to him when I started getting a handle on this and
Yeah.
started realizing, because I remember how many Ken Griffey Juniors that guy had. He had probably hundreds of them. That's all he would get back then. He would always buy them and buying the boxes. So I
Yeah.
said, Matt, you got to dig those things up, dude. And you got to contact me and you got to take pictures, or I need to come see. He's in Oregon now.
Okay.
I said, you have a lot of money sitting in there if you have one. He goes, I have it all. He has it all. So yeah, he does. I did reach out to him.
That's
So you could have hundreds of thousands of dollars, man. Just all the Jeters. So he knows maybe this is maybe preemptive for me to reconnect with him and get something going with him.
Oh, love it. Love it. Well, let's talk about for you, man. I mean, you talked about your buddy Matt with the Griffey Juniors. For you and your collecting, is there kind of the grail chase out there, the card you've always wanted, you've always dreamed of? And what is that card and why?
Yeah, I'll be very candid here. The cards, it's maybe because of almost 10 years doing this. I like to display things. So I like sports cards a lot, and I have some, but I collect Star Wars. So Star Wars,
Okay.
Star Wars and WWE cards are my favorite.
Okay.
Sports cards, I just love the hot rookies, and I'm a 49ers fan.
Okay.
But when it comes to just today in the shop, somebody brought in 1977 Star Wars from back in the day, wanted to sell them. Unfortunately, they weren't in the best condition. But some of my favorite cards are, I have a lot of Princess Leia cards. I got to spend the day with Carrie at a convention one year when I was working at with official picks at Star Wars Celebration. So kind of had a connection with Carrie, not to mention I grew up watching all the movies. So I have a pretty extensive, Princess Leia, Carrie Fisher collection.
Wow. Is
I love
a favorite Carrie Fisher card or a Princess Leia card? I mean, I don't know if Star Wars is foreign to me, but is there like a great?
Yeah, I do. I have a one of one that actually someone gifted to me.
Wow.
And so that's probably one of my favorites anytime. And you can probably know this, when people give you things, it'll never be sold. It just becomes special. It is given to you at a certain time. So I have a really nice autograph of Carrie, one of one. My most prized possession from her was that day at official picks at Celebration, where I got to spend the day with her as she was signing in her booth. And she gave me a photograph afterwards that she signed, and she signs really big on these photographs.
Yeah, I've seen her signature before. Yeah.
Yeah, she takes up like, half of the picture, and she wrote, with love, Chris, to you, and stuff like that. So that's one of my favorite items that I own.
I love it. I love it, man. Well, hey, you've been ripping products since 2014 in breaking, but let's talk about for you, the box of choice, money not an option. You can rip any box open for yourself. What product are you picking and why?
Oh man, that's a toughie. I mean, I don't want to go with the standard default, but there's something about just in general the product line. I really do like opening up shiny things. I really like the Select brand.
Yeah.
Select football is one of my favorites. Triple Threads baseball is one of my favorites, and anything that has to do with national treasures. I just think whoever sat in that meeting, like someone came up with that. Somebody said, I have an idea. It's going to be called National Treasures. It's going to come in a box. It's going to have a little box inside, and we're going to have booklets. So, ultimately, like high value wise, probably like many other people, what would it be like to open up a guaranteed 1986 box of Fleer and get that Jordan rookie out of there?
Yeah.
That probably is pretty thrilling.
Yeah.
But, you never know today what you're getting. That's the downside. So
Absolutely.
if I found one in a closet somewhere, from an uncle's house, I know it's legit. The chances of that happening are zero. So
yes, very true. Very true. Oh, very nice. I'm also a fan of shiny product myself, my friend.
Yeah, you like the shiny things or chunky? Back in the day, we used to go, if it's shiny, it ships. That was our first thing we used to say. So do you like shiny or do you like chunky? Meaning thick, immaculate cards, national treasure. You go shiny all the time.
Shiny all day. 35-point shiny cards are my jam. Let's do it.
They are, man. Especially each year, they're finding ways to implement the parallels, different colors,
Absolutely. Which
different
I love.
designs.
Yep.
You
Which,
know,
yeah.
sometimes you get a little carried away with like Revolution stuff. I can't even see the player, but they're so shiny, buried amongst all of these holograms and stuff. But yeah, I'm with you on the shiny stuff. There's just something about those golds and different colors. Yep.
Absolutely. All right, man. I got last question here, man. We're just checking them off.
Sure.
You've been in this hobby for longer than me, longer than most. I know we see some kind of big changes coming, up the pipeline here. Kind of as you think about the future of the hobby for you and the future of the hobby in general, kind of what things do you feel like get you excited as you look forward to the future of the hobby?
Well, I can tell you from day one, back in the day, and Nate can attest to this. I did say we're going to have a hobby shop uh, here with Top Shelf Sports Cards. So to get the shop done was a big task, and it's well worth it. But I really enjoy, and this term's used a lot, community. But I love building the community here with the kids and the families, and sponsoring all of the different things in the area that you can sponsor. You name it, I'll sponsor it. Sports teams, professional teams, all that stuff. So my future is continuing to do that here. Breaking, it's changing a little bit. There's so many breakers now, right? And you will see attrition from your customers that either grew out of it, got bored with it, moved on, went somewhere else. But a community of a card shop will always be here. So I focus on trade nights, family nights, fun nights. We're doing, PSAs coming in here in March for in-store authentication and drop off grading. So just to continue to focus on breaking, of course, but that's gotten so mainstream, and so it's getting watered down a little bit, in my opinion. Having a shop and building a community in your neighborhood and in your town, city, and state is where my focus is, mostly going forward.
I love it. I love it, man. The community to me, and I mean, you and I have talked about this, is the crucial piece to the hobby. I mean, you talked about your story with Matt. I mean, that's community, friends collecting together. And now we got this big kind of broader platform with social media where you don't have to be in the city next to the person, but it is a pretty special thing when you can have a shop that you can go to and do the things that you were sharing. So, all right, man, you brought a bonus question to my head here. Just as you think about the card shop itself for you, what big things you got planned for the future? I mean, obviously you got the card shop here now, but Top Shelf Breaks, what's next?
I have short-term, midterm, and long-term goals. I've always been that way, and you should set your goals that way: short-term, midterm, and long-term. And one of my long-term goals is to have a shop. It's still in America, but it's over a big ocean. It's over in Hawaii.
Okay, let's go.
Okay. Yeah, man. I have a special connection to Hawaii. My wife, when we met 15 years ago, she surprised me and took me to the Pro Bowl. It's like, okay, that's a good start. You are off to a good start if you're taking me to the Pro Bowl.
Winner.
After knowing you for
that's ring material.
Exactly. 3 or 4 months together. Afternoon one day, she said, it was Pro Bowl weekend up there at the game and everything. So I was like, okay, that's great. Then at Christmas, she took us to Hawaii. I mean, for the Pro Bowl. I mean, the Hall of Fame was in August. Then she took us to the Pro Bowl. So 2 surprises. So I said, I got to marry this girl. So I fell in love with Hawaii. We honeymooned in Maui, and we go there every year with the kids. So every year I'm there, I learn different things. And I actually found the shop in 2021. I had a realtor take me out. We found a location, but the problem was, who's going to work there? Like, the money was right. I know everyone says, why didn't you call me? But I actually walked through the location. It was 1,600 square feet. It was 2 blocks from the ocean. I mean, it was perfect.
Yeah.
But then I thought, okay, suppose I lock this in, then what do I do? And I didn't have the staff. I wasn't prepared. How are we going to get product out there? So it is still rumbling around in my head to have Top Shelf Maui, Aloha breaks and stuff like that. It's just a special place. We love it. And so that's on my long-term goal radar. And like I said, continue to build out this shop. Build out the store, maybe have other locations in different towns, and just continue to build the Top Shelf brand.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'm sure, drop it in the comments if you're watching this, if you want to know the address to send your resume to for Top Break Maui. So
want to run a shop in Maui. Let's go.
I will be deleting all those comments because I'm sending mine and saying, sorry, it's just me. So
I mean, if you're willing to, if you're willing, I'll tell you right now, if you're willing to pick up and move and take your family and move out to Maui, the job is yours. I'll meet you out there. We'll find a place, but that's a big step. It's pretty far.
Let me talk to the wife first.
Run that by her tonight. Hey, I wanted to tell you, K-Dub, I want to say thank you for all that you do for all of us in this hobby. Your personality, your kindness, your willingness to always be positive and include everybody in inclusion really means a lot, dude. And it really makes a difference. And that's really why I wanted to come on here to tell you that. So thank you for everything that you truly do for the good of the hobby and people and good spirits. You do a great job at it because you're a natural. And so I wanted to say thank you for that.
Oh man,
Yep.
well, thank you. I mean, it's a pleasure to do it, and I'm just thankful that people keep saying yes. So I'm gonna keep asking. So
Keep doing it.
hey man, we cleared it. We got a high five. Throw it up. High five at the end. High five. Throw it up. Boom.
Oh, yeah.
All right, man. Hey, check out Chris, Top Shelf Breaks, topshelfbreaks.com. He's on all the socials at Top Shelf Breaks. Please make sure you subscribe to the channel, Dizzy Dub One, and follow me on Twitter at Mr. K-Dub. I want to shout out some of the endorsers this year, Buck City Breaks, Rack of the Day on Twitter. Just great dudes. Check them out as well. Always remember the good. Chris, thank you so much, man. I appreciate you, brother. And,
Mahalo. That means thank you in Hawaiian. Mahalo.
yeah, let's do it. Mahalo, my friend. Yes, my man. Y'all take care, and we'll see you next time on the next High Five.